Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on just DCTV and the Arrowverse as a whole, because we got a couple of different things or a bunch of different things to talk about. So we are almost at the end of 2020, about a week to go. It's the year to forget for most, but I'm sure for some of you it might have been a great year personally. You might have done a lot of good in your personal life, which is great. So for some, it's a year to remember. But usually as the years come to an end, you don't get much big news, at least for really anything, unless it's current events. So in this video, I am going over the pieces of news that have come out relating to DCTV and the Arrowverse over the past week or so, roughly, that weren't worth a specific video on just themselves, but they're worth discussing overall. So we'll put them together in this video and talk about it all. Now, I will try and upload one more video before Christmas Day, but if you don't see that potential video, whether it happens or not, but do see this one, I just want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and most importantly, a safe Christmas, especially during the current environment we're in, and just do everything safely. And if you don't celebrate Christmas, happy holidays. I hope everyone has a good time over the next year, hopefully the next year, but specifically the next week and the new year as well. Now, a few weeks ago, we got word of a new show in development on the CW, or for the CW, called Naomi, which was based off the character of the same name that had recently been introduced to the comics only over the past year or so. And who will also be on the Justice League roster come the next phase of DC Comics come March, I think it is. So that's very important. Technically, we're now getting a show coming or in development for the CW that now has a Justice League member on it, or another Justice League member, might I say. Now, that show is being produced and written by Ava DuVernay, but more importantly, for the next topic at hand, it will be co-produced and written by Jill Blankenship. Now, for some, that name might mean absolutely nothing. Like, okay, why even telling me? Is that the Jill from Jack and Jill? Who is it? Well, she was said to be a showrunner for Green Arrow and the Canaries, which most likely isn't the case anymore if she is now on this show. Now, don't get me wrong. I know you can do two shows at once. It happens a lot. Usually not in an overly creative role, though, like on a consistent basis. But she is also jumping from Berlanti-related stuff to something with another production company. So the likelihood of her doing both is quite unlikely due to that, different production company stuff. Now, in regards to Green Arrow and the Canaries, we haven't really heard anything in a while regarding this show outside of the mini announcement. It wasn't even like a big one, but like a mini announcement that Mark Guggenheim wasn't going to be related to any of the Arrowverse stuff from now on. And he was meant to be a consulting producer for the show. Now, he could still do that role and still not be overly connected to the Arrowverse, but it's still connected. So when that announcement came, it sounded like he was disconnecting from anything related to it. But recently we got a few interviews with cast that were related to the potential spin-off show that addressed some stuff with what's going on with it. Now, both of these are actually from TV Line, but they're separate interviews a couple of days apart. Now, Catherine McNamara, who of course played Mia Smoke on Arrow and potentially on Green Arrow and the Canaries, was asked if the show could still happen or not, and just overall what the status was. And this is what she said. It's been a while now. I have no idea what's on the horizon for that, but I do know that I'm not done with Mia Smoke. As you know, with that universe, people are brought back left, right, and center. I would love to go back and play in that world. I was really looking forward to seeing how Mia dealt with having this duality as a character. The fact that she had her post-crisis future and her pre-crisis future, and now she has the tools of both at her disposal. But also dealing with taking up her father's mantle before she feels ready. I can't read today. Before she feels she's ready, and before she feels as though she's earned it. That will be an interesting journey. I don't know why I was struggling to read that. I have no idea. Maybe I'm getting 2020-itis. I don't know. Anyway, now the most important thing, just quickly before we move on to the next question and quote, she does say, I'm not done with Mia. Now, what she's saying, the reason she's saying that is because she personally wants to still play Mia, but she's not saying, oh, the CW is not done with Mia. The CW and the people that make the shows might be like, yeah, we have no intention for that. But but Catherine herself is like, yeah, I want to do Mia again if I'm given the opportunity. So it's a one-way road in regards to that. Will there be someone coming back down the other side of the road? Who knows? Yeah, TV Line also asked Ben Lewis, who of course played the older William Clayton on the show, about whether he had heard anything about the show. And this is what he said. I haven't heard anything about it in quite a while. I was always sort of a little bit out of the loop because I was not contractually attached to it the way that Katie Cassidy and Juliana Harkavy and Kat McNamara were. So I don't really know. That's another group that had such great chemistry, and I would never say no to the opportunity to work with them again. But it's been over a year now. I don't know. You would have to ask them about the status of it. But if it ever happens, I would be thrilled because I love those women. Now, it's important to say, like, I completely forgot. It's been a year since they filmed those episodes. It's been a year since they filmed the Arrow finale. This year went by really quickly and really slowly at the same time. Now, as I said earlier, this is the first the cast have really talked or referenced the show in ages. There was a period, like, just after the Backdoor pilot aired, that, I don't know, it went for like a month or so, where there was like fan art and feedback from the episode and just the end of the series as a whole, which the cast responded to and everything like that. But that only went on for a bit, like around a month or something before, well, the silence started and nothing really came out. Like, you don't see Katie Cassidy saying anything about it. I think Juliana Hokavi sometimes reposts fan art, but it's few and far between. I don't think she's done it for a while. So a lot of the stuff has gone silent. Now, the big thing is that none of those other actors outside of Kat McNamara has done any work or signed on to any work. So maybe they're still thinking, well, maybe it's still a thing, but they're not getting their hopes up, not being too confident on social media. It's a tough thing to even just read, but the silence can be, well, the silence is deafening, if that makes sense. Now, in another portion of the interview with Ben Lewis, I'm not going to include the entire question because it talks about other stuff, but he does refer to COVID being a reason that the show wasn't picked up. But I think it's more of a reason as to why there hasn't been a definitive decision on the show. And as I've said before in other videos, COVID could ironically be keeping this show alive due to the unknown as to whether certain shows could be sent into production or just development. They're not going to spend all this time developing a show and then COVID happens and they can't get the show up and running. But with Green Arrow and the Canaries, there's stuff there that they can already go back to. They have sort of a plan as to what they wanted to do. It's already sort of like part way through the process of getting made, if that makes sense. So it's a show that's not, you know, in like a stage like Superman and Lois would have been, or Stargirl or Flash or anything like that, but it's more than, say, what Naomi and Wonder Girl would be at the moment. And also, they might have actually seen the response to the show, and maybe they just put it on the backbone like it's an emergency show they can use if they need to, but who knows? It's a confusing situation. I wish they would make an announcement. I think everyone just wants them to say whether it's happening or not, just so there's closure. But anyway, on to some other confusing stuff. Warner Brothers Brazil announced that Legends of Tomorrow would be premiering on their channel in March and Supergirl in April. Well, is this right? Well, by the sounds of it, it sounds like this was a bit of confusion on their part. Those dates seemed a bit early. It has been said that Stargirl was lined up to premiere in April, but it depends what days they're set to, be on, what shows were on those days before them, before that wrap up their current seasons and stuff like that. Like last season, Stargirl was on the same day as The Flash, but then also Legends was on the same day as The Flash, and now Superman and Lois is premiering with The Flash this season, so all these shows aren't going to be on the same day, so some shows are moving certain days. It'll be interesting to see where they land. I personally think they'll hold Stargirl off, and she will premiere season 2 when Superman and Lois ends because it has less episodes than The Flash. I don't know where Legends is going to go though, and I'd assume Supergirl goes to Sunday where it's always been. But there are a few factors that go into all of this, but honestly, this whole situation is just a wait and see type, and overall, in my opinion, it's a waste of time for the most part because we still have The Flash, Batwoman, Superman and Lois, and Black Lightning to come out, which all have confirmed release dates. We'll just enjoy those shows, and we'll just let those shows figure out everything they need to do before they come out. At least we'll have some stuff to watch. So no dramas there, in my opinion. But there was a new Superman and Lois poster released, not the one with Superman, the Superman suit. This one was released, I think, like half a week later. I don't think it was a full week. I think it was maybe 4 or 5 days after, but it's just Lois and Clark on the Smallville farm. Now, there has been conversations as to whether they're using the actual Smallville farm from Smallville, or the Clark farm, or the Kent farm from Smallville, and also as we saw it in Elseworlds. I think they are. I think I saw someone saying that they are. I just don't know if they are 100% or not, but this looks like it. I don't know how many areas there are in Vancouver where they look exactly like that, so I'd assume they are. I don't know, I have to wait and see what's going on there, but hopefully they are because it's a cool farm. It works. But also, to finish off, the last thing to talk about is also Superman and Lois related, and that's that Adam Rayner has been cast as Morgan Edge on Superman and Lois. This was the casting that we were waiting, because they cast every other role they were looking to cast. This was the only one that was taking its time, and it seems it's because this character isn't going to appear until maybe episode 2 or 3 maybe, or I'm not too sure. I think he's in the pilot script, but I don't know if he necessarily appears in the pilot. I think it might just be mentioned, I'm not too sure. But anyway, Adam Rayner is actually replacing Adrian Pasdar, who portrayed the character on Supergirl. I did see some people saying that the replacement of or replacing Morgan Edge was due to Adrian Pasdar having stuff going on in his personal life. I'm not too sure if that's the case or not, but I did see that going around. If that is the case, though, I wish him all the best. But I just saw people saying that, which I guess would make sense as to why they did the recast. Now, Superman and Lois' incarnation of Morgan Edge is described as an intelligent, eloquent, and impassioned self-made mogul whose innate ability to motivate is the means to his success and others' demise. So I think what we're meant to see him in Superman and Lois is that he sort of makes his way into Smallville in certain ways that have Lois worried. That has Lois worried, if that makes sense. Now, it will be interesting to see how Superman and Lois plays out in the first season, because it seems that we have this stranger character. I won't jump into who it is, even though most would know who it is, just because it's meant to be a reveal. But anyway, the quote-unquote stranger looks like it's going to be the Superman villain for Season 1, but is Morgan Edge the Lois Lane villain for Season 1? Do both of these characters have antagonists that they have to try and take down by the end of the season, or just through the seasons as they go forward? So that would make sense to me. It's called Superman and Lois. You think they'd have equal share on the show. So I would like to see Lois Lane go up against Morgan Edge, especially if there's some weird stuff going on. I think that could actually be fairly cool. Then we go the action with Superman versing another being. So that could be pretty cool. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like on it to show support. Let me know in the comments section down below your various opinions on what we went over and all of that. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. And yeah, I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.